III, I would like to do it voluntarily.
I'm going to start smoking weed if we start going to war. It's not
Smoke them if you
happening.
got them. Smoke them if you got them. No, don't really. I'm suggesting prayer. I'm pitching prayer. Peace, love, and understanding.
I think.
Are you there, Ron?
Or did I miss something? I haven't been on
Well,
my phone today.
Israel launched a rocket into a hotel, I believe it was, some structure. I believe it was a hotel in Qatar, which is a Gulf state.
Yeah. Why?
Not good.
Well,
To take out, to allegedly take out leaders of Hamas.
Yeah.
Who and but these people represent no strategic threat, so it was strictly a revenge shot. When we know back in the day, back in the 70s, after the Munich Olympics, that horrible massacre, Spielberg even made a movie about it, didn't he? About that operation that took those guys out, which was, if that's the, I can see that as justice. But I don't, like I said, it would be nice to have the option to opt out of World War III.
Well, and so all I know is what we're seeing. Like, dude, I don't want anyone getting blown up. Let me just start with that. But what I've learned is that there's a difference between what we see and what we're being told, and what's being done behind closed doors.
There's always that.
And I'm not trying to. This one's from experience. Like, I'm not in any. My extended family was in government, and when this goes all the way back to the Iranian hostages, back in the day when it was all going sideways. One of my extended family members worked for the State Department. My dad bluntly asked, I'm not even going to say his name. He's like, so and so, what's going on here? And he just looks at my dad, and with a wry smile, which said a lot because he didn't smile a lot. He goes, "Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Oh, so there's a difference between what we see on TV and what's going on behind closed doors."
Yeah.
And so my question, because Hale Zeldin is the one who brought this comment out, and it's not an insult. He goes, "Why aren't the dogs barking?" This was after another attack back in the day from Israel. Like, they smoked someone. They and none of the other Islamic states were saying anything.
Well, we'll see what happens on this one.
Oh yeah, no, I got you. I agree. I want to be careful because I
mean, nobody likes Hamas, from what I can tell. They are not popular unless you're Iran. Nobody likes Hamas, and I'm not even sure Iran. It's an alliance of convenience, but striking another sovereign state with a friggin' rocket. That's cutting. That's new territory.
So,
I mean, the hegemons have done it, right? The big powers have done it occasionally. The United States, most specifically, and occasionally it was the Soviets would pull something, right? They kind of launched the whole Afghanistan debacle back in the late 70s. Good Lord, that's how long that place has been on fire. And then maybe it was early 80s. It was during Carter. It was the Carter administration when that started. So the Russians did it. We did it. But after World War II, and before World War II, people started all kinds of nonsense on occasion,
Right.
but it seems we're going, as has been noted by our very own. Hang on a second. Hold on to your hat. Well, look at the screen. As has been noted by our very own Bishop Vanderklay.
Oh, I like that.
This is the end of the World War II order. We are now in the post World War II. Would it be non-order? But anyways, whatever it is, it's the whole post World War II craziness. Sorry, I meant let's that up. So yeah, all I'm saying is I'm not picking sides.
No.
I'm not saying one's right, one's wrong. I mean, you smack each other around enough back and forth. It doesn't really matter who started it.
Right.
How do we de-escalate? How do we de-escalate? Bishop Paul, come visit us. Tell us how to de-escalate. Anyway, I shouldn't do that. Poor Paul.
No.
I don't know if he likes my Oh no, and don't let Vervaeke know I'm using LLMs to make Paul a Russian Orthodox bishop. I'm going to get in trouble with everybody. And did you see that we got Megaron? Did you see the huge, massive John Vervaeke comment we got in the House of Wu to you? Or it was it was to Sam. It was to you and Sam.
No. I'm
Michael
listening.
Sartori is in the house. Sartori, did I say Sartori? Sorry about that. Sartori.
Well, it's my birthday today.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Blessings to you from all of us
Happy
at the
birthday.
House of Wu and Bishop Paul.
I mean, I'm guessing it's just like a default of the AI that if it's well, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because there is a lot of Russians, but that it just assumes if you're an Eastern Orthodox, you're not going to have blue eyes. But
Oh yeah, you pointed out the changed his eye color.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
This was I started him out as a priest. I went Eastern Orthodox priest. Maybe when I went to Russia, and I kept playing with the algorithm, and it or LLM, and it started out with just Eastern Orthodox priest. Then he went Russian Orthodox priest, and I said, "What the heck? He should be a bishop." So he's being seduced by Russia. He's reading Russian history now. It's just a matter of time.
well, yeah, I sent him a
You're getting happy birthdays in the chat.
thank you, Teo.
Happy birthday, Mike.
The guy that founded the town that I grew up in, he was like this weird. He didn't like calling himself a Unitarian or a Trinitarian, but now in history he gets lumped in with Universalist Unitarians. But he was a big writer about like pacifism and was a big influence on Tolstoy. But he never really like got the fame, but he was an influence on Tolstoy, and then through that on Gandhi and MLK too. But an interesting guy. His name is Aidan Ballou.
Yes. Yeah. So, what's on your minds? Ron, you wanted to start early because you've got dinner plans, apparently.
Oh, you know what?
Ron, we got to fix your connection. I don't know how to do it. So, what's on your mind, Michael? What are you thinking? As other than getting 1 year older.
Oh, just trying to figure out the new. I mean, it's kind of an unknown season. So my wife, we're expecting a baby in November. She's not going to be working at our church anymore, so this is her last month of doing that, and then figure out what's the new thing. And I mean, I would like to be more involved in church and church adjacent type things, I guess, so I might see if there's some more job opportunities for me to do some of that. So we'll see. And I'm going to the South Estuary, so I got my my plane tickets and everything else set for that. And
Probably last chance you'll get to do that for a while once the baby arrives.
Yeah,
That sort of thing.
probably. And then and I'm bringing my father-in-law. He lives near there, so he's just driving me up, and he's going to come along, and he knows nothing about any of the
okay.
things. So it'll be a fresh experience for him. So
weekend of it. That will be interesting. And that's a pretty far out group. How normie Christian is he?
He's pretty he's in an interesting place. Like he's I don't know. I guess kind of walked away from a lot of that for a while, and then he had gotten divorced from my wife's mother, and then she passed away, and that was kind of a pivotal moment in him coming back to a closer relationship with Christ. And then and he's been remarried since then, so him and his wife have been getting more involved in things. He just retired this spring, I guess, and now they're kind of like they're getting really involved in stuff. So he's kind of doing something with the young people in his church, the young men, and getting he's asking me to recommend books and things because he's trying to. How do I reach these people, and what and so he's doing a lot of learning, and I would say he definitely has a lot of history as normie Christian, but right now he's in a moment where he just feels like we haven't learned enough, we haven't studied enough, we need to be doing more. So I mean, open-minded, I guess. Yeah,
he's in an interesting place.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, it could be really, really helpful. My wife was surprisingly positive about the experience that when I took her to Living Stones, we visited when we were up north, and she enjoyed it. She thought it was she spoke well of it, even after the fact, not just at the moment. She came back later on and said it was really good. So, yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely like there's definitely a different thing, not just in this space, but I think in a lot of places where there is the boundaries of like who's in and who's out, or who can we have a discussion with, have softened in a lot of ways, and I think it's in a good way. So, like. I mean, the South Estuary lineup is more Christian, I would say, overall. It's a pretty wooey batch of Christians.
It's a wooey batch of Christians, from what I can tell. Yes,
and Joseph, who is not, but is very.
Joseph could be the most conventionally Christian of the bunch, though.
Yeah, probably the most conservative in a lot of ways. But I'm looking forward to it. That's kind of a, I don't know. It's like that's a group where, I don't know. I guess maybe being a parent of small kids and stuff, it's like I don't know if I would want to if that would be the vibe of the church that we would maybe go to as a family all the time. But it's like more of the thing where I could be like, this is where I can relax and find a little more peace than like every week. I feel bad, but every week when like my pastor preaches, I'm like, like, why are you're just saying that this is what the text says, and there's a lot of other ways you could interpret it, and why are you just making that decision? And I mean, I guess that's kind of a pastor's job, but it just bothers me. So, but I don't say anything, because I know how to attend church. I know how to be a really good church member. I pick my spots like once or twice a year. If something's really important, would I like email the pastor,
Right.
basically actually even before, but so in our old pastor, it was like, I emailed the pastor to be like, I don't know if we should really be shutting church down for COVID, which I think, I don't know, in retrospect, that was probably that's the winning position overall, but understandable because it was such a weird thing and nobody knew what was going on. So and that's a tough spot to be in, as
Right.
no one had experienced that before. That was new for everybody. So
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Paul Vanderklay, the people seem not to be able to get enough of Bishop Paul. They want more Bishop Paul. It's happening.
can he smile in the
Can I make him smile?
Yeah.
Do
No,
Orthodox
no
priests
smiling.
smile? They always look so grouchy online. They always, or at least somber, not grouchy. Stern and serious. They don't have the big, rich, deep bank accounts that, the big Eva has. Those guys are smiling because, they live lives of
Oh,
comfort.
shots fired.
Shots fired.
Shots fired. So before we start another war, three things. Michael, happy birthday.
Thank you.
And secondly, man, I had three things, but I'll start with two. All right. Somebody ought to pray, and I really do agree with you. Like, I don't pray for the peace of Israel and the Middle East. I'm like, if this is the house of Wu, and it is, I'm like, dude, boys, load up the truck. We got something to take care of. So if anybody is inspired at this moment or any time, I'm like, let it rip, because prayer does work. So let's have at it. And then what was the third thing? Oh, what did Dr. John Vervaeke say? I'm like, oh God, I don't hope I didn't hurt the guy. I
No.
hope it, you know.
Oh, you want me to read it? Let's pull it up.
No,
to see
but
it.
I'd rather pray first, because
Let's hold off on the prayer time yet,
okay.
unless
Okay.
you really feel moved.
No, I just don't want to
Let's
forget.
set things up. We won't forget. Well, we're bringing it up. It's on people's radar
Okay.
now.
Yeah, I really do want to.
I don't
Pray
think this is a
about it.
one-shot deal. I think it's a sustained commitment, and people need to start paying attention, and maybe
Yeah.
over time we will have an effect and change minds and hearts, and
I'd like that.
convert Christians into being real Christians, and
And
help
prevent
everybody else
stupid
be
shit.
what they are supposed to be, but more peaceful and constructive in this world.
Mhm.
I mean, I do not know what the government of Israel is thinking right now. I won't presume to. From the outside looking in,
Right.
it's almost like, is it suicide by cop? I mean, is that what Netanyahu wants? Because you keep pushing the world in a certain direction. It almost what it looks like.
Oh,
It's psychotic. It's
I heard
self-destructive.
I heard a politician say, and I liked it. It was, I don't know people's
Sorry.
motives. I just
I contain multitudes.
of what?
Free Willian said he can only does it pay attention to ice phrase or the Middle East. I don't have capacity for both. In my father's house are many mansions, many problems. So go ahead. What were you saying?
I have no idea.
Oh,
Something
sorry.
about John Vervaeke.
What was that? Oh, well, yeah, that's small potatoes. I mean, I don't want to hurt the guy, and I don't want to. It's a weird thing to criticize someone. I don't know if I'm wrong in criticizing him in public or bringing this up. I don't want to just be another charismaniac attacking someone who's new age, or not new age, who's talking to Hermes, because he's already gotten enough hate mail, I'm sure. It's just,
Well, here I had a new idea on that real quick. I'll pitch it to
Alright.
you guys.
alright.
So that okay.
Mhm.
I've been playing with this. I've been wondering why don't we? I asked the question a week or two ago, and brought up to Sam particularly and said we don't pray to the Logos. Have you noticed that? I mean, the Logos is clearly identified with Christ in John 1, but specifically the incarnation, right? And creation. But we don't pray to the Logos. In fact, it would feel I would feel very weird praying to the Logos. If I was in a church service and somebody started saying Almighty Logos in the name of the Logos, I would be like, I'm not so sure I like this feeling, right? I don't, but I don't have a biblical basis for it. I can't say that's wrong. It just feels wrong. It feels wrong. It's not necessarily wrong if you go by the letter of the law, the book. Now, here's the question. God could be through Hermes communicating with Vervaeke through the Logos in the form of Hermes. Is that even remotely possible? Is that theologically acceptable? Is that theological aberrant? I'm just throwing it out there. Because it's not telling him to he's not telling him to divorce his wife or his partner or leave, start a
Mark
cult
Parker,
or whatever.
you are in the right place. You are in the house of woo, and I'm about to double barrel shotgun you with some woo of my own.
All right. Should we
Which
change
might-
the background for this? Go ahead.
No, you don't have to unless you want to. You could do psychedelic Jesus.
No, we're talking about poor Vervaeke. There we go.
No, I don't want to. So when I was Shaman Ron and wanting to be a full-blown medicine man, because that's what I thought. To be honest and fair, I saw people who were talking with what I thought was God. And that's what I wanted. I'm like, I'm not hating Christianity or Judaism, but there's nothing there for me that I see. Became Shaman Ron, and things started talking. I mean, it was pretty profound. And I had some experiences that God did use to bring me to Christianity. They were separate houses. One was a different spirituality. But God did use it, that the encounters I had, to draw me to him, without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying it couldn't be the same for Dr. John Vervaeke. I'm just saying it's a dangerous road. Or, yeah, I mean, I guess I just don't want to sound like I'm Bible bashing and beating them up. It's just that I know these guys, and I don't know even how that sounds. But if you meet a critter, and what I mean is an entity, however it should be called, they're out there, they're powerful, they can be incredibly pleasant and insightful and all that, and everything you'd ever want, to be honest with you, as a human being. But there's not even a dark side. There's a bus stop that is not Jesus at the end of it for all of them, I think. And that's my concern. Now, if you don't want Jesus and you want the different bus stop, all right, cool. It's just, I know my opinion is the other bus stops don't end well. So does that make sense, Mike? Michael, what do you think?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing of I guess it kind of depends on like what degree and what level of trust you put in these things, because I think I've had experiences where it's like I thought God was telling me to do something, and then like, okay, so as an example, I went for 2 years to this internship at this big church, and I decided not to go back for a third year because I felt like God was really calling me to go back home. And I thought the reason why my friends and I were going to start a Christian rock band, and that we were going to like save the world through Christian rock music. And I felt like this was God, putting this plan together and making things happen. And the music thing didn't really pan out, but I still feel like, yeah, that was God directing me to go back home, but it was for other purposes, and it's, whereas like, if he had said, I want, if you got the image of exactly what's going to happen or whatever, which sometimes includes difficult things, maybe you wouldn't go down that road, but you need something that nudges you on the right direction, or and so maybe it's a bunch of things that ping pong you back and forth, and then eventually it gets you down that right path. So I think the thing is just not to always lock in on like one of those things and take that thing as the absolute message, especially when it's like something I don't know, super specific, like because I've had things where it's like I feel God's calling me, like when I'm like 12 or something, it's like God calls me to kind of a general ministry type thing, like not you're not going to be just a regular person, you're going to be in the middle of all this church stuff, and it's like, well, I don't know exactly how that shapes out. And then several years later, I felt like a more particular calling towards young men, and then it's like, well, that's kind of continued and been refined in a lot of different ways. So it's tough. It's like even the devils play a role in some of these things, in chasing you back sometimes where the way you're supposed to go,
That's a hard pill for me to swallow, and I'm not disagreeing with you. That's the thing.
Why is that hard for you to swallow?
Because when I've met devils, they're mean. They're not nice. Like, I've met them. Like, and because I've met them, or at least the demons I met, they weren't no fun. And so to have anyone in danger, because I think once you're toying with a demon, interacting with it, you're interacting with a being that was created by God in the beginning, that said, no, I don't want to be your employee. And they took all their tools with them. So instead of being a good employee, they're now just as capable, but they're against us. And that's what concerns me.
Well, you're used to working with at one level, maybe, and maybe there are other forms. They manifest. I mean, because one of the things that you engage with a lot in your church, if I understand correctly, is drug addiction, or abuse, various forms of substance abuse.
Sure.
I might call it gritty street level sin.
Yeah, no, you
as
are
opposed
absolutely
to
right.
The soft golden, the kind of Herodian sin that's coated in glamour,
which is more dangerous, I think.
It wasn't good for John the Baptist.
What?
The glittery, glamorous type. It's what took John the Baptist out. John the Baptist was seduced through the beauty of his stepdaughter and the lust and of all that is what ultimately
Wait.
made him take off John the Baptist's head. Remember the story?
Oh, I thought
You said
no, I
John
thought
the
you said
Baptist was
John the
seduced.
Baptist had.
No, yeah, I wasn't saying John the Baptist got seduced. I'm saying the person who took John the Baptist out was seduced.
Yeah. Okay. Now we're
Maybe we
okay.
need to change
Yeah.
backgrounds again.
No, we need to
Maybe we'll
clip
go
that
with
one.
unicorns and bunnies and magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
Everything is great.
Everything is. So I think okay. This is what I think is more insidious that concerns me for Dr. Vervaeke, because I can relate to it. When I met the demons, I was so happy. I was like, it was the fulfillment actually of a deep desire to know God, to not be alone, to be spiritually plugged in and heaven, and the motivation, at least for me, and I think for Dr. Vervaeke or John, is good. Like, I'm not saying he wants what's good. You know what I mean? It's just, I think he's getting the switch and bait.
Mm.
Or
I mean,
bait and
Somebody
switch.
seems to think
Yeah.
somebody not on mine. This is on your channel. Said Casey said weirdos. I'm out. I'm sure without proper context, none of this would make much sense.
Oh, I know. This is, yeah. I mean, dude, this is woo. I mean, this is eyeball.
If you're a normie Christian, this does not
Run
make
away.
sense.
Listen, this is for entertainment purposes. If you're a Christian, read the Bible, go to church, get baptized, do communion, go to confession, and run away from this, because we're about to go to the twilight zone where the buses don't park.
Yeah. Go back
Go
to
with
your
that,
favorite
Roy.
YWAM channel or something.
I think the thing that I've been thinking about quite a bit recently, and it's one of these problems with the fundamentalist thing. And it's like, I would say in a lot of ways, I'm probably pretty aligned with the fundamentalists, theologically speaking. But what I have a real big problem with is their willingness to use fear as a motivating factor, how they employ it, and so you think about, like, whatever. So John Vervaeke comes out of that background, and it's like, what percentage of things did they get right and did they get wrong? Maybe it's 50%, maybe it's 75% right, whatever it is. But you use that fear to keep people in line. Don't go, and it's always to just like, don't explore these things, and and whatever. It's fine advice for the people who are just nodding along. Yes, I don't want to do, we don't want anything to do with those. But for some people that it doesn't strike them the right way. And it's like, this is how I am in a lot of ways. Yeah. Like, if you don't tell me why, I like it's I have a very hard time with that. Just do it because the authority is saying you should do it. And so if you don't tell me why, I'm not going to want to listen. And so once you get somebody like, you get to some point where the whole thing collapses and you're like, well, I don't believe any of this anymore. Then, you're not going to selectively choose to say, like, which parts of the fundamentalism were they correct about, and like maybe it was too. So it's like you just set them up. Anybody that disagrees with you set them up to start exploring exactly what you told them to ignore.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. Oh yeah.
And so and that's like I don't know. That's a scary thing, but it's like, I don't think that that's something God's incapable of overcoming. And it's hard because, there's certainly things like I wouldn't want my children to explore certain avenues of exploration and things like that. But I have to be really careful about, like, how am I going to try to
just lose everybody?
No, you're
Am
here.
I by myself?
Nope, you're here. Do you not hear us?
Okay.
Testing.
Right. That's good. So I think, what's interesting is during this conversation, I'm actually having a physical response I can feel. And I think it's to engage. It is,
Engage how?
Fight.
Violently.
Oh,
With who?
No, not violent. And
Aggressively.
I'm just being
resist.
well, yeah,
okay.
it is to lock and load, aim, protect. Not. It's not. It's not. You're wrong. I don't like you. It's like a fireman what's the feeling of fire. Oh, wait till I come back. It's wanting to help.
Well, yeah, helping is good.
And
I mean, this is. Are you
like
done?
when someone's in need, it's not aggression like fight, yelling like the bridge is out kind of a moment. It's not aggressive. Yeah.
Jason brings up an
Sorry.
interesting point. If you
Can I
pray to
freeze?
saints, then you can't say to not pray to Hermes without some level of hypocrisy.
No, that's not. No, I don't think that's hypocrisy at all, because you can pray. Here's the thing: prayer works. It's just who are you praying to? So really, prayer asking for help from the other side isn't wrong. It's just who are you asking it from?
Well, I think it seems like people are a little more surprised about Hermes talking back or whatever than maybe, because I hear about people praying to saints. I don't hear a lot of people talking about having discussions with them. I mean, I might be wrong about that, but
Right.
You get some pretty weird stories out there, though.
yeah, that's true.
We
There
didn't.
are-
Like even Joan of Arc, didn't
Okay.
she? What's her whole story? Wasn't there a saint involved with that?
Yeah. Well, and I think, I also have just been thinking a lot about that verse about how God uses the foolish things of this world to shame the wise. And
That's a good verse.
yeah. And if your world is the Christian world, he's going to use the things that are really foolish in the Christian world to shame the wise people in there too sometimes.
I go back to this thing here really quick from Free Rillian was the I didn't what I would say is I don't if you're just changing religions without changing yourself substantially in the direction of Jesus, I mean, what are you going to do? They're going to convert. They're going to convert to? They'll probably convert to some form of evangelicalism, right? But then what do they do? But is that Christian enough for you? Do they need to convert to something, other form of Christianity, Orthodox or Catholic or whatever? I mean, it's like,
Well, actually,
you can move up, if you're going to move a Muslim out, and then what does
I
that
don't
do? Hold on a second. You move a Muslim outside of his, okay, he's going to break
Okay.
from his family. He's going to be alienated from his community. Now he's a Christian. And of course, his life is going to be somewhat at risk, depending on what part of the world he lives in as a Muslim or she. And if all they're doing is committing to religious forms with, as I said, not to the entire life, which most Christians, from what I can tell, have not converted to themselves. Most want to just play.
yeah,
They want to look Christian and be worldly.
shot fired. Shot. Really? No, and I'm not trying to bust your chops. But
We know it's true. It's glaring, Ron. Let's get real.
okay.
I'm just- What?
Wait a second. Hey, Satori, Satori, you are not a ref. I'm stepping in the ring with Parker right now, okay? It's on, Parker. Me and you, and I don't mean to be busting your chops at all.
Yeah, you do.
But just, a little bit maybe, but it's fun.
I need to make one of these there we go. But that's what is that? That's is that Aristotle or Plato? That's Plato and Nietzsche. I have one with me and Ron.
I don't know. Aristotle looks pretty buff there, dude.
General Ron is in the house. Okay. Go ahead,
I
Bob.
like yours better. I like yours better. So, when you said I guess what it is the reason I was taking pause with your comment. In my religious community, um, just in the past
Mhm.
24 hours, insane bad has happened. I mean, bad. And I'm on a scale of 1 to 10, absolute 10, without a doubt.
Mhm.
And they're not buckling. They're not, they're actually drawing into their faith.
Good.
And,
Good.
so I don't want to throw shade at the body of Christ, especially just because what I've seen
I don't
just in
want
the
to throw
past
the
24
baby
hours.
out with the bathwater. All
Yeah, that's it. That's all.
right. But what are we
You know.
converting them to? Just tell me. What do you want to
Well, all
convert?
right,
You want to
all
take? You
right,
find a
Michael.
Muslim. The
Michael,
Muslim needs to be converted. What are you going to?
I feel
Which Christianity are you going to convert him to?
I don't care. It's not my job. I don't care. Like, you want to be ortho, be ortho. You want to be Catholic, be Catholic. You want to be Pentecostal, fine. Well,
I mean, most of the time it's it's pretty dangerous over there. If you convert to Christianity, you don't get a lot of time to develop your theological positions a lot of the time
right,
before you know
yeah.
before you find yourself in hot water. Um, you know, I think that
It
the
is more complex though. Like I had friends who lived in the UAE, and as Christians, Americans, for quite some time, and I think it was related to military work. They were civilian employees of the U.S. military of some branch or another, and they went to a vineyard. I think it was a vineyard church there, and they were allowed to operate, but I think they just weren't allowed to openly proselytize. But they seem
Hmm.
to have get along just fine. And UAE is, but it's one of those. It's not Saudi, right? It's different, um, but it is
yeah.
complex. It's
Well,
complicated.
yeah, I mean that's the thing is that they have a toleration for Christians in most of those countries, but they have no toleration for Muslims converting to
Yeah, it's
Christianity.
probably true.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean if you do it like, and usually it's like, it's like if you like if it happens, then the Christian is basically like, maybe you have a conversion experience, you have an encounter with Jesus, then you have the decision of, do I get baptized or not? Because you can like safely live. You can live as like a covert Christian, because they have even like, there's a guy he's put a lot of Twitter stuff out on Twitter, but basically even saying like Islam isn't really a religion; it's more of a political ideology like communism,
right.
and in so much as like, okay, so you got a driver's license and it's got your religion on there, and they don't care who you pray to. If if you got the Muslim sticker on there or whatever, you're good. You have the most rights and privileges. Um, so you can be Muslim because you're like born Muslim and you can follow Christ. But if you feel that you need to make a public declaration of faith and be baptized, then you're putting yourself in a dangerous position, where you
Right.
could be martyred or something.
Well, and there is something that comes to mind as you were talking was the phrase in the Tom Holland interview on trigonometry that Paul played a clip of, where he said the question was did he think that Islam can be Protestantized, have its own kind of reformation, which is a loaded question, and Tom Holland responded that he found, quote, Islam to be uniquely indigestible to secularism,
Yeah.
which just that idea in itself is not sure if that's constructive either. It's a very colonialist perspective, the idea that we're going to make something digestible to our way of life. It seems to me what I'm interested in, what I would, and like you said, considering the risks involved, maybe would it not be good enough to let God work and maybe use, in a sense, allow people to convert to the message and transformative way of life that Jesus modeled and taught, and now and maybe result over a period of time, if enough people did that within Islam, that you might have a religion that would be perhaps, if not indigestible, would be just less, find itself less in conflict with the broader world and Christianity in general. And then ultimately we might be able to find fellowship with each other, just as Protestants and Catholics, who were once at each other's throats and disemboweling each other and lighting each other on fire, we've learned to live together in time. Maybe a new, more moderated, and it's not to assume that there aren't Christians out there that themselves don't need to be, as I said, converted to Jesus and to the Jesus way.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a little problem in that it seems like the Muslims that more peaceably coexist with others are the ones that ignore their text and traditions more than like. So it's like there's a problem there. I mean, they kind of the thing of the Arab supremacy of it, like, because I mean that's a big part of the thing that happens with the Protestant Reformation is that it's about having the text in your own language, and then Christianity's good with translation because it's, and every time you translate something, you're essentially saying like, it's that you can't get word for word like perfection, but you can. But what you're saying is that the meaning can come through, and so and as you have people with even just different languages speaking about the same things, our understanding of the meaning expands, and that's hard with Islam because anything you talk about that's not in Arabic is like, I don't know, unofficial, I guess, is what or whatever. So,
what do you think, Ron?
Hold on,
Are you
I'll
with
be
us?
right there.
Okay.
I had to step out for a second. I'm listening though. Give me a second. Sorry. I had to walk into my kitchen for a second. I'm sorry, Michael. I didn't hear everything you said. I apologize.
Did you have other thoughts though you wanted to share?
No, well, here's the thing, because Tayo was saying, he's like, why are we talking about Muslims? And I put in the comments, we started with Israel. And oh yeah, I know a guy, and I've met him, and I know him. He's an evangelist. Nice guy, Robbie Dawkins. And he's Protestant, but he works closely with Catholics a lot. Encounter Ministries, Father Matthias Thielen out of Encounter Ministries in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the Middle East a lot. I mean,
Okay.
He's almost been killed. And he's not a Bible thumper. He does what he does is he prays for people a lot. He's a big guy, but he's quiet and very effective. And so he preaches the gospels. He preaches the gospel in power and love. And you asked a good question. Well, what kind of Christianity should they be?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't care. As long as you wind up somewhere with him, I'll be honest with you, I think that's up to him. That's up to God. And I'm not, and I mean this, this is just my opinion, and I might get flamed for this, but I don't, but I'll listen. I see God moving in the Orthodox, in the Catholic, and the Protestant world the same. the same Spirit that raised Jesus from the dead, that heals the sick, that casts out demons, raises the dead, and transforms hearts. I've seen this hill I will die on. I have seen the same transformed heart of love in every one of these traditions, or however you're supposed to say it. So when I say I don't care, I really mean it, because you're going to be okay. And that was
What about the Mormons too, huh?
yeah, okay.
How about them Mormons, Ron?
No, I
Wait,
think
wait, wait,
there's
wait, no. I got a Mormon story. Okay, so there was a New Age girl, and she got possessed. She got possessed pretty bad.
Dad, come here.
okay. I gotta go.
See you later, Michael.
But
Thanks for
happy
hopping
birthday
on.
again.
Happy birthday. How old are you?
Thank you. 41.
All right, congratulations. All right, continue. You've
he
got
was
everybody on the
possessed.
edge of their seat. Okay.
And it was bad. And she called out to Jesus sovereignly. And he showed up and he lit her up. And what I mean by that, he encountered her. She had a transformed heart. She realized he was Lord. You know, that it was like a Saul to Paul moment. She got free of the demon. And at the end of the video, she goes, "Wow, Jesus is real. And I guess I just got to go back to the Mormon church." And at that point, I was like, well, he got her. He will keep her. He will sift through the theology. You know, I don't have relationship with the girl, so I can't go out and say, hey, I have concerns here. But I've seen him work in confusing ways, so that if your doctrine is really jacked up, but you really encounter God, Jesus, and you're talking with him, I have more confidence in God than I do some people's bad doctrine. And I'm asking you this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess that's where I land right now, instead of asking. And, I know the Mormon question was kind of like a gotcha, like, what you gonna do now? And I think it's a good question. I don't take it lightly, and all I can do is trust God in that one.
Anselman says Muslims are in exactly the same situation as any non-Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever, fellow human beings, loved by God and in need of salvation by Jesus. So are Christians, my question would be is, why aren't Christians in this group? Because it's just another religious category.
What can you help me understand?
He did not put Christian. Christians are omitted from this group. They'll use that. This is the problem with the logic of religiosity that I see. Is you're saying Muslims are in exactly the same situation as any, and I'm quoting him, non-Christian, Jew, Hindu, Buddhist, whatever fellow human beings, whatever he said, fellow human beings loved by God and in need of salvation by Jesus. And I'm saying, why would you not list Christians in that? What about the label makes you any less in need of salvation? This is what I'm pushing against.
No, I think I agree with you when you put it that way, because I didn't understand you. Having a label doesn't, if I have a jersey that says the Cleveland Cavaliers, that doesn't make me LeBron James or even put me on the team. It just means I have a jersey. The proof that I'm on the team would be my actions and my relationship to the upper management.
What do you mean by upper management?
jokingly God. So yeah, that would be the woo part, where transformation of heart, relationship with God, uh, relationship within the body, just things that with fruits of the spirit, I think would
Right.
be. Oh, by the way, I need to. I have a. So you ask a good question. So it's not what you say. You can,
It
it's
is.
not.
I am betraying my Protestant bias. I would agree.
I don't know about that. I like, yeah, and someone says God's spirit witnesses that with our spirit that
I
we
hear lots of
are.
claims like that though too. I mean, is this what PVK was just talking? Well, no, it was PVK or was it the Tom? I'm blending podcasts in my head right now. The Tom Holland interview and PVK might have brought it up as well in the about Islam and why it struggles, why secularism and the secular state or secular society struggle to
There is no secular
mingle
society
well.
in Islam. That's what I thought he said.
That's right.
Tom
That's
Holland.
just yes. Islam. It's all there's. Islam doesn't see itself as a religion in the Western sense.
I probably, maybe, I don't know. That's
It's all
you tell me.
It's all encompassing. But so do Christians. Will say the same thing. How many times
Yeah.
have you heard from the pulpit? Christianity isn't a religion.
Well,
It's a
not.
relationship with Jesus. See,
What?
everybody's idea of religion is somebody else's thing. What you're doing is religion. What I'm doing is personal, more profound. It's relational. We come up with whatever language we want to make ourselves feel
So
like
what's
we're not doing what everybody else
It's
is
the burr
doing.
under your saddle if you have one.
Yep.
So let me see your face here. I'm looking at comments. Where do I?
Let's see. You're just alleging only hypocrisy as if all profess. No, I'm not. I just want to see a little more substance behind the claims.
You know what
I
that
would want.
one is?
I want Islam to be friggin' normal too. I mean, it's insane that you've got people out there, and in
Right.
considerable numbers, would
Yeah.
celebrate really horrendous things, right?
Well, October. Yeah. Here's the thing. October 7th is rolling around. It's
Mhm.
coming, and I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it to break loose again. And I don't know. It's gonna, like I'm here. Okay, Lord, in the name of Jesus, would you please stop these rocket launches and the war, and free the hostages and stop the killing? I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's within your will or ability because of the crazy. But since you're God, and I've heard you say all things are possible, why not me pray this? So I will pray that you stop the crazy, that you bring the end to the idiocy, that you have people stop killing, the anger, that you stop it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
So that was a prayer of frustration or something.
At least that's good. I'll take it.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: Middle Eastern girls are hot looking. I'm like, that's my issue. Like, dude, I'm thinking peace for my
They are
own
very pretty.
well-being.
They are very pretty.
Yeah, and just yeah, it's to stop the crazy. Okay, a prayer of mercy. I'm not looking to win. I'm just stop the crazy. So what was I'm taking a look here at the
I would say pray the prayer and also consider your actions. I mean, it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
not your. I mean, it's in our little
Yeah.
ways. I mean,
Yeah.
it's promoting peace in small, really small micro doses,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
it's literally how you treat the girl at the checkout counter, or how you treat. I got a good story for you. Talking about
All right.
checkout lines at the grocery store, and it doesn't reflect well on me at all. Um, I'm in line. I'm getting one item, right? I'm in a hurry, but I'm in line and I'm just kind of in my own head, in my own world. And the there's this little guy, looks like he's had a long, either he could be both and or one or the other, but he looks like he certainly has diminished mental capabilities at this point in his life. He's probably looks far older than he actually is. Signs of what I would call, meth addiction or something.
Yeah.
In many ways, a person who looks kind of at the end of his rope.
Yep.
But he's got a little puppy with him, a little dog.
No.
And I hear somebody talking behind me, kind of funny in the background, just with a funny voice, and he's talking. I don't know what's going on. I'm not really paying attention. I'm just standing in line. I mean, you run into things in cities all the time like that. It's just, you never know what's going to. But I'm not paying any attention at all. But the people in front of me, a lovely couple, look around and they're waving. And waving. Who are they waving? And then I realize they're waving at the little guy with the dog, trying to wave him through and put him in front of all of us so that he can check out. And what does he have? He has a little can of little canned sausages for his dog. And this is what he was telling. He was talking to his dog in a funny voice.
Oh.
And he was talking to his dog that he can't have regular dog food. He has to have people food. This was the conversation he was having with his dog behind my back. That just sounded weird, and I was tuning out. But these people were not tuning out. They paid attention.
Right.
The guy looks like a street person. But if he's not a street person, he's not well.
Right.
He goes up, and then the guy in front of the guy who's actually at the check stand points out, you can't hear anything, but somehow he ends up paying for the man's canned sausages. So I got shamed twice over by these people for, paying attention, doing the beautiful, sweet thing, the loving thing, the aware thing. I'm like going, yeah. It made me feel very good about the people I live around, that they would do this, that they wouldn't be all freaked out, go all Karen on him, and would be like, we're going to treat him well. We're going to talk. And then I think that gentleman who paid for the can of sausages took a little time out to talk to the man. Well, it's just people do things like that. See, that to me is like, doesn't have a sign on it, but that's what Christianity should look like and be on a small level all the time.
Maybe that's what you saw.
Yes.
So,
and I hope so.
Well,
if it could be just the manifestation or spirit. It's a fruit of the Spirit at work, being put on display, whether these people were explicitly Christian or not. But they were doing God's work,
right?
Even if they didn't call it that.
Exactly. So instead of saying I'm looking for Christians, because I saw it in the comments section and I kind of understand and I agree. You can say at this point, I possibly saw Christians and know and count that. They say you suffering, you count it all joy, but sometimes I think you're allowed to see good works and good deeds and say, hey, there are Christians. And instead of looking for like a light switch on, off, light, dark, perfect, not perfect, look at people living and acting in and with grace, mercy, and love. And you won't be as disappointed. And I think, anyhow, before I go on talking, but it's just a thought, because that way you don't
No, it's
get
just-
disappointed.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's just disappointment. To me, it's what we need. This is what we need.
Yeah.
People doing stuff like that, and
Right.
this whole. Let's see. What does Anselman say?
And some
It would seem Mark does not know any Christians, or he would just want to falsely accuse all of hypocrisy. Have I said all? Anyway,
it
does,
seemed like
you
it was
know,
a pretty big blanket.
there is. It would seem a pretty big blanket. No, what I'm going to say is I'll push back on that and say that
Okay.
no. What I'm saying is I see I see very little
Okay.
Christianity
Okay.
looking
Uh
distinguishable
huh.
from the other
Okay.
devout
Yeah.
religious
Right.
people.
Yeah. Okay. I got you. Okay. I won't fight you too much on that. I'd have to think about it, but
Look, Jesus said,
I think,
Jesus confronted the issue directly himself when he said, hey, you guys, if you're nice to your friends, what's the big
Right.
deal? Everybody's that way.
Right. Okay. So I wasn't okay. Remember when I said all hell broke loose, or I don't know if I use those words, but I'll just say, last night, in the past 2 days, in my community, all hell has broken loose. And I had one buddy who had to forgive his newly wedded wife for going off the reservation. And I'm not going to say he's perfect, but last night when he called me talking about his wife and the problems with his wife, I grilled him. He told me what she was doing, and he was kind of geared up. And I stopped him and I said, well, yeah, that's not right. I said, but I really can't, I don't want to talk about her. I want to talk about you and your attitude. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, she's a mess. You're right. She's acting wrong. But how are you acting? And to make a very long story short, I walked him through repentance for the way he was thinking about his wife, because he had an attitude about what she was doing. I'm like, well, if she's doing something wrong, she's obviously not doing well herself. And if you say you're a Christian, and he really is, I said, if you really, can you legitimately forgive them and see them as God sees them and have mercy on them? And to be honest, and he really did well. And I'm not saying I busted his chops in a bad way, but I really called him out. And it dialed him down, because it was a moment of confession. I'm like, this is what I think you're feeling towards your wife that I don't think is correct. And he's like, wow. you're right. It isn't right. I'm sorry. And he took it to God. Now he's still dealing with his wife, but now he'll be able to deal better and not from a broken place himself. And Lord help him. Now the second one, this one, I don't even know. Somebody died. They got shot,
Mm.
and my friend
At
called me up.
home, or just was it a
In town,
domestic dispute or accident?
well, it was one of my friends at church. Their family member, an extended family member, got murdered. Just dumb, just bad, executed.
Oh,
And yeah, so she called me up and we prayed and she got closer to God. She's going to do his funeral. And she called me up to get support to just navigate it. Dude, she was a hot mess a year ago. She couldn't hold a thought in a bucket. She's come a long way. And now she's solid. And now she's going to do an extended family member's funeral. And I'm like, wow, I'll be honest. I was like impressed because she was able to cowboy up. And it wasn't within herself, it was with God. So I'm saying all this to say I'm seeing Christians. It is, yes, there are broken people, and maybe we all are fine, whatever. But I'm seeing some in the moment not giving into it,
mm-hmm.
leaning in God in an identity way that's spiritual, and finding a bedrock of solid, loving support and walking. It's not just walking, enduring pain. That is just devastating. So, that's what I've seen. And so when you're looking for Christians, I don't like that whole we're all broken people and we all stay broken. I'm like, no. God said, be perfect as I am perfect, and it's in and with love. I think we can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, well, I plead the blood. I forget, whoever I've hurt. Well, I'm getting kind of stopped. I'm dealing
you're
with my
fine.
own. Okay.
You're fine. You're doing fine from what I can tell. You're fine. You're doing
Okay.
good.
Okay. I'm navigating this live. So I think you're a Christian. I'm a Christian. There's so many Christians. It's not about being perfect. It's about not quitting and working it out with mercy and grace for others and ourselves.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think PVK is still in the chat or in the audience, but at some point I would like to have a conversation with him on what are the marks of a true Christian, or what would be the identifiable. Is there anything that one could say this is what a Christian should be and look like? And I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying there's an answer. I'm just saying it would be an interesting conversation.
I think there is, and I think of it like trees. There's a diversity of trees, but they have certain commonalities: leaves, roots, branches, trunk, and all that. And in Christians, diversity, and I would go back to the fruits of the Spirit. If you see them, I think that's a good probability of what you would see. Start there and then work backwards. What do you think? Does that sound reasonable?
Well, I keep saying somebody says here the fruit of the Spirit, and I keep pointing to that.
Yeah, I like that.
I brought that up. I said, what if we made what was it, the Friday? Was it Paul's Friday stream? I said, what if we made the fruit of the Spirit the I don't remember what was
The
the exact
stabbing?
phrase, but the thing that defines what is and isn't a Christian, but then everyone gets hung up in other things.
I think no, and I tell you why. I have a friend named Bartley. I can use his name because he has a happy ending. Bartley was a crack addict. I knew him 20 years ago. He walked into church. He's like, I'm hooked on crack. Then he lost his license for life. He'd been hooked on crack for crazy long time.
Mm-hmm.
He walks into church and he pretty much says, Jesus, if you're real, can you please take away this crack cocaine addiction? Pastor does a simple prayer and Bartley gets whammoed. Walks away from crack cocaine,
Mm-hmm.
gets his license reinstated, becomes a bus driver, and now is one of the top bus drivers in Muncie, and he's going to retire in a little bit. And he has a wife and family. I'm like, dude, that's like a shooting star. That doesn't happen a lot, but for the Christians, maybe it's so different for everyone. It's so subjective.
Well, you're right.
No, from the outside. From the outside.
Right.
Let's say you're anxious. Let's say you're agoraphobic or you're incredibly fearful. And then you learn to just go outside and make friends. So what I'm saying is sometimes it's maybe the smaller changes that are huge victories and indicators that are only known to God. Like, I mean, both me and you have had some pretty good times with God. We've changed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I went to, as I said at the beginning, you weren't here for it, Ron.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know that I went to church Sunday?
No, I did not.
I did. I went full rainbow church.
I have no idea what that means or what
United
that
Church of
entails.
Christ. United Church of Christ.
Oh.
And they were lovely. I mean, I go to church, I see God. I have no problem seeing the light of God in people's eyes in a lot of communions and I mean congregations and so on, and it was a great service. It was excellent. It was very good, and there was a packed house. They're doing quite well. As the rumors are false that the main line is down for the count. They didn't get the memo. They're doing really well. They're doing very well. Much better than the church I was at.
Right. It's
so, but I don't know if is it home or not. I don't know, but it'll suffice for the time being.
Is that a big step for you?
No. I've been to lots of different kinds of churches. I'm just not a big fan of church shopping. This is the thing I hate most about the whole Protestant scene is that you have, you find a situation untenable. You can't just, you have to then start all over again and try to find a place to fit into. It's as opposed to if you're Catholic, just go to another Catholic church.
Well,
right?
it's funny that it's also an advantage and a disadvantage. So weird. It reminds me of the Jewish community. Jewish community when I was growing up was incredibly small. I'm like smaller than the Amish. And you got ticked at someone, you might go on the other side of the room, but you weren't going to a different synagogue. That was it. You were stuck. Mm-hmm. So you learn to work your junk out. Because it was part of the community. Like you knew not to fuss because there was no other lifeboat. There was no other option. And I think Protestant world advantages. It's just like, well, I don't like the music, I don't like the worship, I don't like the pastor, I don't like the community, and I'm out. The church that I've been at now for mostly on, for the past 24 years, Tabernacle of Praise, Muncie, Indiana, yeehaw! I have fought, fussed, spit, cussed, and been disappointed with the pastor and him with me, maybe. And we still hang out, but I didn't leave. And I'm learning to talk with him, and he's learning to listen to me. And I think staying in one place, there's something about it that, at least for me,
Sure.
I know that's the place, so I think wandering, that I've seen good people just not root and not develop. And I think community is real important for a good Christian walk.
Absolutely. I totally agree. But is the Anselman here? See, here's the problem. And with all due respect, my brother, he says, does the Rainbow Church suggest they approve of sexual immorality? Well, it wasn't in the bulletin. I didn't get the impression that it did. And then it says, what is their take on abortion? Is that in line with your own permissive attitude to it? See, here's the problem I'm having with people who call themselves Christian. All due respect.
It may be fair, and because Anselman's not here now. Anselman, if you're out there, dude,
he's out there. He's
fired.
writing this stuff. He's
I
writing
know,
this.
but wait a second, because he's not here.
Is he a
so
bot?
Well, probably. I think Anselman's a bot, and I think he was started by
Russians.
no, the guy who started Chat GPT.
Yeah, Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah. I think this is Sam Altman. Sam Altman. Okay, so Anselman is actually Sam Altman's avatar.
There you go.
And
see, the problem is you want grace for yourself. Don't judge us. But boom,
wait.
he puts
Oh,
up
wait,
that
don't go
one little signal. One little signal. One little signal. I held up a brochure.
Oh, I did answer.
Or
I do
a program.
Okay.
And it's like,
somebody saved the stream. Somebody.
no grace, no grace, no grace, no mercy, no forgiveness.
So,
It's
question.
kumbaya until it isn't.
until it isn't. I missed the Kumbaya house. I had a good time there.
I
was
know you
fun.
did. I know you
Yeah.
did.
It was fun. And Clara's pregnant. She's very pregnant.
You started it, my brother.
Well, wait.
There you
Can
go.
I? and
Not
I am
you.
asking-
I'm picking on Anselman.
I know. I know. But actually, you didn't. He didn't start it. You did. You threw down
I'm the one who held up the United Church of Christ bulletin.
No,
That's all
not
I
it.
did.
No, that wasn't it. You said a rainbow church, and I didn't understand that. To be fair to Anselman, and I didn't understand what you meant.
Well, it's something called wit,
What? Quit?
sense of humor.
Wow. Ow.
It's exercising one's sense of humor.
Everyone stretch your hands towards me. I just got hit. Ow, my ego.
Irony. Don't be irony deficient. Take your irony supplements. Here, should I
That's
play
full
something to
contact.
help you? Let me find something to help everybody with their irony deficiency.
So I
Go ahead,
didn't
keep
understand
talking.
I didn't understand what Rainbow Church meant. I did. I still don't. I'm just asking.
Well, no, I mean it's because they are progressive. They are part of a different. They're the part of that main line affirming style of church. They're the ones
Mhm.
who didn't win. Their side didn't win the battle in Paul Vanderklay's church, right? In his
Okay.
denomination.
Okay.
So it's it's a fun group. It was a great church, and they had a little. They had even served communion, and it had it was leavened bread, sourdough to be specific, very controversial, and they colored rainbow stripes within it. That's why I said it's a rainbow church.
you
It's very
serious?
funny. Yeah,
They had
yeah.
on the
They also
communion plate?
offered gluten-free for people
Yeah.
who were gluten sensitive, and
Well,
they
that's
had
the whole
water instead of wine for people available for people who didn't want to take the grape juice. It's just so very funny. I don't know if they had any hits on the water, but and yet
Yeah.
the message was excellent. And the spirit of the people is beautiful, and it's just a different, it is not your conventional, it's not the vineyard,
Right.
it's not everything I would want, but I
Right.
tell you what, a whole lot more loving than the place I was coming from.
Well, I'm not saying it wasn't that place you're coming from. They had issues. They had issues, and I'm not hacking them. I'm just saying you had issues
No,
there
it's
for
just a
sure.
fact of life, man. Just a
Well,
fact of life.
maybe, yeah. So, all right. That's so. When you said how
It
did
was
you
a
put it?
nice place to go
Yeah.
if you need a church to go to. I'd recommend it if you don't mind the more liberal bent. Lord knows there are 20 or 30 socially conservative churches out of every one socially liberal church you can go to. So this one's thriving, doing well. And it fits probably more into my values, and so I will probably go back. If I were to start a church or help start a church, I would probably lean into a more socially open and liberal type of congregation. It doesn't mean conservatives don't need their own church. If you're socially conservative and you need things to be the way they've always been, then by all means, those churches are out there for you. Go to those churches, but don't piss on me and piss on these people because they don't see eye to eye with you on certain
Well,
social
and
subjects.
what started this conversation was, I think you said the rainbow.
Yeah, just the word rainbow triggers. See, again, this is a
Well,
problem.
dude, now listen, that brings a lot of baggage, especially when it's not explained. So it wasn't triggering. It was more like, what does that mean? So
Gotcha.
what did Dr. John Vervaeke say?
What did Dr.
What-
John Vervaeke say?
Yeah.
Okay. See if I can find it. I may have gotten rid of it. Here it is. Okay. I don't know if it was to you or it was to Sam. I think it might have been more to Sam
Okay.
because Sam was in that live stream.
Okay.
Let's see if I can find it. Uh-oh, someone's at the door. Oh no, he's circling. PVK is circling. Oh, he's on the road. That's why he's circling.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Went to see Freddie. Freddie's not doing well.
Oh man.
Yep.
All right.
You're fine.
We'll put him on the.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. We can.
Yeah, I play for Freddie. He's. Yeah, I can't talk about stuff on the internet, of
Right.
course, but just pray for him.
Yeah.
He's struggling. And, he's been struggling for a while. And I knew he would be. This happens fairly repeatedly. I'm a little more worried about you, Mark. How are you doing? You sound kind of, I don't know, a little discouraged.
Well, I
Discouraged
am I
at
discouraged?
Christianity, discouraged at the church.
Yeah. Well, I would love to talk to you in depth, and it will fit the whole. We've got a whole bank of episodes for On Ramp Radio already recorded, and the theme of them seemed to be something like, you know, what are the marks of a true Christian? One way or another, it seems like that's kind of what I'm struggling with. You know, what would be, because it'd be an interesting interview and discussion with you for the public, but for my own work, for my own self, it's definitely something, because how much grace is too much? When is grace cheap grace, as Bonhoeffer put it? And yet, you can also spiral in the opposite direction and end up in a kind of snake eating its tail Pelagianism. And so I'm kind of torn in that. I'm pulled between that tension, and I hope you heard all of that, Paul. But that's kind of what I'm dealing with. I've lost everybody. Oh, no. Well, this is the Mark Show. I hope he heard. I'll try to say it again but yeah, I'm struggling a tension between it's I guess you could say it's I see a lot of cheap grace, and that is discouraging. Did you catch any of that, Paul? Or do I need to re-say it?
Yeah, I heard it all. I guess I was just trying to figure out if you could still hear me. I turned off the camera. I was just going to start driving back to the office. Freddie's living a ways away now, so when I have to go hunt him down, it's a half-hour drive either way. So I'm going to turn off my camera when I leave this open, but I can hear you just fine. So
okay, so that tension I'm dealing with. That's I guess you would say that's my place in the moment of crisis.
You can still hear me?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay,
Loud
good.
and clear.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was hearing, you know, when you're talking and sort of probing, and, you know, Mega Ron's trying to catch your hard balls that you're throwing. Poor Ron, I felt bad for him. But he's so winsome and gracious. I really appreciate Ron. But it's easy. It's easy to get discouraged, and it's easy to look around. And I loved your story about the supermarket, though, because that's, you know, I think part of what this, you know, behind this question of secularity is that there's, I mean, the fruit of good Christians in the world and in history and in politics leaves for improvements in civilization. And we can certainly look at things like the, you know, abolition of slavery and, you know, concern for the poor, concern for the elderly. I think these are all good things. And then, you know, so often, you know, and Protestants have long looked at, you know, we look at Christians in church, and we can all see it in our own Christian lives too. There are times when we seem to be really following Jesus closely and really bearing fruit of the Spirit. And then there are times that we struggle and we suffer, and maybe times that we just don't, you know, we're not a good witness, or we're not manifesting Christ really well to the people we're living with, to the people in church. I mean, I love Ron's stories, because in a church that's really on the front lines like that, where you're helping people get off drugs and get free from stuff that's binding them, and, you know, begin to not only just have a degree of sanity in their lives and a degree of stability in their homes. People like that often want to just jump into church and really do good things, and sometimes they can, and sometimes they do it for a season and they stumble and fall and they're back into the pits, and it's hard. And so Mark, with all the difficulty that you've had sort of sorting things out in your local church, that impacts you, because, you know, how could it not? So I feel for you, and I hear the discouragement in your voice, and so So I just wanted to encourage you. I'm glad you didn't, glad you're still working the House of Woo, because part of what the church is for is that we need each other. And we need each other when we get discouraged to say, yeah, the world is a mess. People are killing each other, and people in their homes aren't treating each other right. But that little glimpse in the supermarket of the people seeing the guy with his little dog and maybe helping him out, get the little sausages for the dog. It's like, God's not dead, and
no. I agree.
He still does stuff.
Yeah. No, it's the part of the problem is, and I'll let the other guy speak too, is that it says Mark's problem is, somebody said Mark's problem is he needs to go back to church. I went to church, and then you're not happy with the church I went to.
Because it says, no more rainbows, buddy. Only brown skies for you. Anyhow, I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
I can't see the screen because I'm driving, so if there are other people in there, just let me know.
No, it's good. We enjoy hearing from you, but we also got Henry and Stetson showed up.
Good.
Thanks, and we will keep. If we lose connection with you, we'll definitely remember.
I'll just drop out now so other people can talk.
Okay, thanks, Paul. Definitely
Paul.
remember Freddie. Missed the Freddie and Paul show.
Yeah.
I thought I would read a verse that might, add some, elucidate some of the situation here, and then I have some commentary if it's welcome. But I'll start with the verse because it's probably better. It's 1 Corinthians 4, 3 through 4. I care very little if I am judged by you or by any human court. Indeed, I do not even judge myself. My conscience is clear. But that does not make me innocent. It is the Lord who judges me. Therefore, judge nothing before the appointed time. Wait until the Lord comes. He will bring to light what is hidden in darkness and will expose the motives of the heart. At that time, each will receive their praise from God. And so I understand the tensions. I'm a sort of hyper ecumenical guy, right? That's sort of where I've been at. And so I'm someone who's probably comfortable getting chewed out at a hyper Calvinist Bible study by somebody who doesn't like my doctrine, and appreciating it, because what I see, and someone who's more or less fairly comfortable in a church with a rainbow flag, although I probably have my limits there because I have OCD and I was raised pretty conservative Baptist, so it's hard to you grow where you're planted,
Sure.
So but very comfortable in a Roman Catholic church, probably or an Orthodox situation, and so the mere Christianity approach is perennially helpful, and I think what humility gives us the space to appreciate the strengths we don't have in other personalities. There is a kind of overlap between the kinds of doctrines certain like personalities drift towards over time, and so it can be hard to see the grace of God working in the lives of people who have doctrines and personalities that really don't jive with yours. But it's part of the sacrificial and humble nature that comes with the mind of Christ, to learn to appreciate where their heart is and the good things they are bringing from their place where God has planted them. And I know that everyone kind of recognizes it, but it's easy to lose sight of it. I got chewed out I actually did get chewed out at a Bible study last week at my little local church here where I serve, by a Bible scholar who just wasn't open to the idea of the kinds of questions that are like would have been milk toast for the TLC,
Right.
And in the moment, I want to, there was the thing in me that wanted to get riled up and defensive and like, no, the Hebrew approach is to, look at the tension and embrace the tension and use the tension to guide you to the treasure. But I also recognize that this beautiful white-haired man's convictions are beautiful, and many of them are probably more valuable than all of my flexibility in some ways. And that these are all sort of part of the body of Christ. And so I understand that it can be very, very frustrating. I don't deny, I'm sure that Mark would, probably be dismayed to know I worked for a Republican congressman, and
Okay.
so,
So you see some interesting characters.
Oh yeah, yeah, and frankly, I answered the phone, so I've said this before. I've heard it. I've heard it all. I've heard the nastiest things you can possibly imagine.
Yeah, I
and you
think
get it
I've
from
heard
both-
you mention that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You get it from both sides. People are
Sure.
angry that he's a rhino, or other people are angry that he's affiliated, or and the interpretive lens that everyone sees things through is just, it's very difficult to get past all of that, and we need more grace and humility, I think, than we can possibly imagine.
I want to give Henry
Sorry.
a chance to talk too.
Yeah, sorry, Henry.
But let me respond briefly to. I think it is a beautiful passage from 1 Corinthians 4. But the tension I'm in, of course, is go on to 1 Corinthians 5,
Mhm.
and specifically 5:5, and he's dealing with with corruption in the church body. And Paul then says, he basically says, ultimately tells them they got to judge amongst themselves, and he said, deliver. What's the actual phrasing here? 1 Corinthians 5:5. Hand this man over to Satan for the destruction of his flesh, so that his spirit may be saved on the day of the Lord. So there's tension. I mean,
No, there is.
it's a serious tension. And I do think the American church is largely apostate. They don't think they are. We're very Laodicean in the sense we think we are rich, but we are poor.
Okay,
This
Mark.
is why I look very much forward to the Chinese. I would love to see the day is coming when the Chinese church that has been brewing and building in the underground of communist dominated culture, it will break out.
Oh yeah,
And
No,
I'm expecting it to sweep the globe in a
I'm
powerful way. And I look forward to it because these are going to
Mhm.
be the real deal, man.
Yes, I'm right there with you. I've had the same meditation for many years.
Yeah. But thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that. It's a beautiful verse. I'm going to go back and read it again. Henry, sir, good to see you, my brother.
Good to be on for just a little bit. Let this be another instance and another day in which I was encountering PVK and said nothing. Let this be another one. I just think it's funny, and it's always on the House of Woo. I was actually just coming to show up earlier than to just bring the Zoomer representation, and less to contribute to the discussion, because I don't know if I have anything particularly helpful or encouraging to your situation, other than it's nice to hear that you're, I guess, out of. I'm probably not up to speed on the situation, but I'm glad to hear you're out of the church situation that I was privy to before a couple months ago. If anything, that does something as somebody who's been in leadership and dealt with silliness, to say the least, with people in the church. Not having to deal with that is quite a breath of fresh air, however that looks. So that's nice that you're out of that. I don't really have any thing to say about, I don't know. I guess it'll take a while for you to probably like get back in the swing of things and be like, I like the church again, or to have some sort of restored or renewed perspective on the situation, because that's not easy to come
Well,
out.
the
with something
problem
like that.
is it's kind of like public opinion of Congress, right? You know that how all that goes. I think you poll the nation, and Congress has got a positive It's people are thumbs up about Congress, and like 10% of people polled will say they like Congress as it is, and the rest are all hating on it. And then, but you ask people, well, what about your specific congressman? And more often than not, a large majority of people like their congressman.
Yeah.
And so when I'm speaking about the American church, I mean, it's a huge category, right? So your mileage may vary, right? With personal experience. So what I'm pointing to, I guess, or feeling is a little at a big picture, I think it's safe to say that to the degree that there is a thing called American Christianity, it's got big problems. That's not to say that there aren't beautiful, substantial, high quality church congregations out there in America.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely there. I think I went to one this last Sunday. It may not be everything I want it to be, or everything I want a church to be, but they're doing it. They're doing the work. And I think, yeah, but collectively, anyway, that's what I'm saying. So I just wanted to respond to that. We got Ryan. We're down to about 10 minutes and I've got to shut her down because I got work to do, I'm afraid. So Ryan, welcome.
Hey, thank you. It's good to be here. I just wanted to say from the outset, it's my first time here at the House of Woo, and I'm a Vineyard guy, so I feel I feel at home.
I remember you from somewhere. Yes. What live stream were you on? Luke? Or
I was on one of Luke's and last week, and then PVK's on Friday at the very end. But
you should check out my channels. My channel up on my channel page has my email address. If you ever want to do a so-called rando or something, and we could do a long form interview discussion on your history in the Vineyard and because you've worked in ministry or a seminary student?
Yeah. I was on staff for about 3.5, close to 4 years at a Vineyard church, and I still attend the same. I'm no longer on staff there. I attend and I serve, but I've moved to a different role right now because I'm in school again. So I got a different job while I'm in school.
Right. But
the one thing I'm interested in with you, Mark, is a lot of the conversation. It sounds like, especially in like the TLC, a lot of the conversation seems to be around this idea of, and this may be a bad way of putting it, but it's this idea of authenticity. Mm-hmm. I mean, it almost sounds like what seems to be really important in the TLC, but maybe what I'm hearing in this conversation from you in general is like, you want Christians to be authentic Christians. Like you want them to be authentic with their belief structures. And if you say you follow Jesus, then like authentically actually try to like do what he said, which is some pretty countercultural things, right? So does that feel like a fair representation of sort of what you're getting at, or am I off?
Authenticity is a good word. It would take some work and time to put some meat on the bones.
Mm-hmm.
If you I guess in short, were you around? You're too young to remember Wimber, probably, right?
I read, I think the book is Power Evangelism, which was a talked about Wimber and the history of the Vineyard movement. So yeah, I never interacted with him directly.
I was at Anaheim for a while.
Oh, wow. That's
I never
awesome.
worked with him. So I only met him briefly once in person, but did a lot of, I've absorbed a lot of John Wimber, and I'm getting feedback somewhere. Let's see. Hang on. I'm just going to mute you, Denise. Is that you, Denise? Yeah, I'm getting feedback, Denise. But I'll unmute you, okay? So hang in there with me, please. So basically, if you really want to understand, I guess my thing would be it's like I do resonate with the holiness movement and a lot of the values of holiness that is part of that whole strain of evangelicalism. And yeah, and the Vineyard, there was a period of time in the Vineyard where they went through a big holiness thing as part. In fact, they did a conference called Holiness Unto the Lord or something like that. And it's basically a form of revivalist evangelicalism.
Yeah.
But it seems like, as I joke around with the guys, I'll say, y'all been trained up on skinny jeans and T-shirts from behind the pulpit for like 30 years now, it seems like. And I don't know, but it is a tension though, because I mean, cheap grace versus that holiness, and I've not figured out I've not threaded the needle. I can't quite figure it out for myself, the right balance. But we've got one last thought, Ryan, if you want, or I can move on to Skank or.
No, you're good. Yeah, move on. It's good to meet you, Mark.
Bless you. Good to meet you, and please stay in contact if you want to talk more.
I do. Yeah, I will.
Let's see. I'll try. Okay, Skankenstein, you were next, and then Denise. Go ahead.
All right, how we doing, guys?
Doing good.
Let me see if I can help kind of like push this conversation thread along a little bit. So I think one of the Bible bits we haven't talked about yet is from the Sermon on the Mount, where Jesus near the end tells his disciples, "Judge not, lest you be judged." But
Yes,
I think it's important to remember that Jesus as a speaker, I think this is sort of like a mode of how he talks, is he was often given to radical rhetorical overstatements because he expects you to meditate on that and try and find the balance there and be like, okay, how do we embody this? And so me being a Baptist guy, this is something that I've been ruminating on for a long time. And something kind of snapped into place for me when I found myself in a courtroom because of a really, really bad kind of like car violation that was partially my fault, partially not my fault. That if the judge was particularly brutal to me, would have like really, really messed up my life for a while and taken my license away. And I just noted, like, I was ready to kind of like argue my case, beg for mercy and whatnot. And it's like sitting in the back waiting for the show to start. And when the judge walked into the room and did the whole like all rise for the honorable so and so and whatnot, and I'm seeing the guy standing in front of the flag in his black robes, and I'm like, regardless of anything else, like, there is no question, based on all the pageantry, this is somebody who has the right to judge my conduct. At least that's what the aesthetics of the moment did to me. It's sort of this realization that when we're talking about judgments, a key piece we do need to talk about is authority. Who has the authority to judge? Where does that authority come from? And recognizing that depending on what sphere you're kind of like operating in, what authority you're working with changes. So when Paul says things like, what have I to do with judging outsiders? It's like, I have a certain amount of communal authority in the church to make proclamations that I don't have when I'm talking to folks who are outside the church, who haven't put themselves under the scrutiny of this particular group who are trying to live by a particular way of life. Yeah, there we go. That's enough. I also have a pitch for next week's House of Woo, but I'll save that for after the conversation closes.
What is it? No, what is it, dude?
We don't have very much time, Ron. I want to give Denise a minute.
all right. My bad.
Okay,
Sorry.
well, I'll just say real quickly. So, because I was road tripping this weekend, and Rich Mullins, the CCM artist from like the 80s, 90s, end up being sort of like the music that everyone in the car could kind of like most agree on. And we are about a week out from the anniversary of his death. And I feel like it would be there's a lot of material. There's a lot of, I think, like woo material to spend some time thinking about Rich Mullins, thinking about his life. And I think, Mark, you in particular would really, really appreciate the things that Rich Mullins stood for and the ways in which he was trying to bear witness in a very kind of like attenuated American Christianity in the 80s and 90s. I think it'd be a rich Mullins. Yeah, find my Twitter. I started yammering about him about an hour or so ago.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll look you up on
But
Twitter.
I think you would really, really, if you're not familiar with his life, I think you'd really enjoy kind of doing a little bit of a dive there. And I think it'd be a great discussion. He's a proto-metagelical figure in a lot of ways, I think.
Okay, good. I'm going to unmute Denise so we don't have. Okay, Denise, I know you have some thoughts about me, but I'm very happy that you joined us.
You will love this because this is your holy scripture, Mr. Parker. No justice, no peace. That saying is being revived. And God bless ICE. God bless ICE.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't agree. I would agree with you. God bless them. I hope that God. I hope that God works in their lives so that they can act in ways that are just and responsible and lawful. And I pray for their families, and I pray for their happiness. I pray for their welfare.
Buddy. Good job. Good job. Well played. Well played.
I guess she just wanted to drop a bomb. Okay, that's good. Well, that's all right. But I mean, I really do. I mean, I've said it before. I've said it 1,000 times already. The way I want. I don't like to see anything burn.
Right. Well,
I don't want any of the kids out there getting hurt. And even Waymoos. I don't want to see even Waymoos get burned.
What's a Waymoo?
They're automated taxis in cities. They're self-driving cars that are like taxis in cities, and a couple of those burned in Los Angeles. So don't even burn the Waymoos. Leave the robot taxis alone. Mm-hmm. And if you see injustice, pray for them. Give them a cookie and a card with a Bible verse on it, and try to cool tempers down.
You're missing one. Lord, we bless Denise.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I mean it.
Absolutely.
And
we do bless
I am not hacking her. I pray peace for her. So I don't know. So anyhow.
And you, my friend, voted for Donald Trump. I voted for Kamala Harris.
Right.
We're still in fellowship. We're okay.
Did you see I'm on the right side of the rainbow and you're on the left side of the rainbow?
Oh, that's true. That's true. So everything is great. All right. Any last thoughts? I literally have to go because I have work I got to do.
What did Remake say? I feel like I'm getting gypped here.
You are getting gypped because I got to drop it. I'll send you a screenshot of it, and if you want to.
I want my money back.
Yep. Sorry, guys.
No, that's all right.
All right. I gotta fly.
Okay.
I don't even have time to play music on the outro.
Right,
so, everybody have a good day. God bless.
In the words of Chad.
Bye, everybody.